5 years ago.
No.
So I can stand up here for all hour. Doesn't bother me any. But I will not start until everyone is obviously paying attention. Everyone good? Everyone got their chats out of the way? Now, first of all, on this situation here, again, you see grouping symbols. And yesterday we talked about if you see grouping symbols, we have to use what property? Alyssa?
Multiplication.
We're going to use multiplication, but what property is that we use? Starts with a D?
Distributed.
There you go. Distributed property. In this case, what are we actually distributing? Miss Kidd? -1. Do you remember how we wrote it in? Just like this, like there's a -1 right here. Okay? So as you look at that, when we distribute a -1 or we multiply anything by -1, does anybody remember when you multiply a term by -1, what happens to it? Anybody remember? Samantha?
It stays the same.
No, it does not stay the same. Jenna? Sometimes it does. Sometimes. Dates?
It becomes the number's opposite.
It changes it to its opposite. So when I see just a negative sign here, do you know how to find the opposite of 3x? That's just the same thing as multiplying it by -1. Because what's 1 times 3x? Does that change 3x? No, so what's the opposite? So if you say negative, 1 negative makes 3x turn to a negative. So what's the opposite of 3x? -3x. What's the opposite of -12?
Positive.
Because doesn't a negative times a negative make a positive?
Yep.
And 1 times 12 is 12. So if you notice, when you rewrite this without the parentheses, what's inside just changes it to its opposite. You see that? And now, if you would, solve for x. Go.
I got it.
Don't divide by 2 first. We never divide first. We have to get the variable term by itself. You didn't even do Fridays. Not taking it.
Solve for x. We now have to solve for x. So why do we have this?
If you actually turn it in. Can't grade it if it's not turned in. Do your bell work? Do your bell work?
I got it.
Yeah, I have already looked at it again. Where's you didn't do you look at it yet? No, I didn't see it. Thank you. Stop All right. All right, check yours with mine. Make sure that I did it right. Remember, when you box the variable term, the first thing I want to do is create the zero pair. I want this right here by itself. To do that, I have to get rid of the positive 12. So now when I do that, those create the 0 pair. That positive 12 disappears. Makes a 0. Okay? And now I'm going to bring that negative 3x term down, because that's the only term I have left. So now 48 and negative 12.
36.
And now, what operation are we going to use to get to x? How are we going to get to x? Cheyenne?
Division.
Division. What are we going to divide by?
-3.
Nice. And obviously these make a 1x. And a positive divided by a negative makes a negative. 1 negative, guys. And 36 divided by 3 is 12.
Hey.
Now, in order to check this, ladies and gentlemen, remember that when I put this in, obviously, if you guys look over here, this looks like a big grouping symbol, right? So look inside. We have multiplication and we have subtraction. Which operation are we going to do first? Multiplication. So what is 3 times negative 12? Negative 36. And now I'm gonna put a negative 12 with it. So how many negatives do I have over here? We have negative 48 inside. What is the opposite of a negative? Look at this. Look at what is it? What did I form here? Yeah, but what do back-to-back negatives make anyway? We've seen that since we've added or subtracted a negative. So does this equal this? Sure it does. Any questions on that one? Anthony?
Could you do a different way, like the check? Could you do it a different way?
Like what?
Like,
Would you plug it into this red equation?
no, like.
Would you ever do that?
No, I was asking
Okay.
like, if you could do like 3 times 12 and then bring, or no, do 3 times 12 and do the negative times 12 and then bring that down and then add it. You can?
As long as you got negative 48 in the parentheses. Don't forget those signs. Because if you made this positive 36, you see how your check wouldn't check out. You would be completely, you'd be at 24. Not close to negative 48. Okay, very far apart. All right, we ready for fractions?
Maybe? No. Yeah. No.
Excuse me? Are we ready for fractions?
Yeah.
All right,
No.
better answer. I told my little 4th graders last night, you better be ready. All right, now, if you guys look at this, first of all, you see the number that we're going to distribute is a fraction. You guys agree with that? It's a 1/2. Okay? Now watch. And listen, that's the key thing. When you distribute a fraction, you actually multiply by the numerator times that. Do that. 1 times 4x is what?
4x.
Keep that in your head. You got that term in your head? 4x. Now you're going to divide it by 2. Okay? So remember, I've always told you a fraction is a multiplication problem and a division problem in one. It's BOGO. Buy one, get one free. Okay? In one term. All right? So, 4x times 1 is what?
4x.
Divide it by 2. Half 4x in half. What do you got?
2x.
You just multiplied, isn't half of 4x? 2x?
Multiply and divide.
That's all you got to do. Now you're going to take this 1 and you're going to multiply it by negative 6. What's 1 times negative 6? Negative 6. Half. Now take it and divide it by 2. Negative 3. You just distributed 1/2. Solve for x.
Oh my gosh, that's how you do that.
Okay, that's all.
Solve for x.
Quite easy.
See, it wasn't as... Don't judge a book by its cover, folks.
See?
I didn't mean that. It didn't show up.
That's the one that works for my C's.
Is that better? Now watch. When we do our check, 1/2 times the quantity 4 times 7 minus a 6 has to be 11. Okay, so let's do inside here first. So what's 4 times 7?
28.
Minus 6.
22.
Okay, what's half of 22? Whoa, whoa, we're doing it. You guys agree half of 22 is 11? Because you're going to cut it in half. Well, it's 11.
That's it?
That's it?
That's it?
I thought it was something way more complex.
I told you, don't judge it. Just because there's a fraction, don't freak out.
I know.
That's what kids always do. They see a fraction, and they're like, I don't get it. It's like you already threw up the white flag. You gave up before you even started. Let me explain. Trust me that I know what the heck I'm doing. I'm going to make this a very easy task. If you just listen, stop. I'll make it easy for you. All you got to do is pay attention. Think about how far you've come with equations. First couple days, you were like, ugh. Look at how far you've come. I mean, seriously, you guys should be proud. I mean, there's no problem being proud of how far you've come.
I already got that problem done.
Good. All right, again, we're going to start this. Remember, we're going to start with the numerator. You're going to multiply 2 times 6x. Okay, hang on, don't write anything down yet. Let's do this in our head. 2 times 6x. If you double 6x, how many x's do we have? 12x. Get that? Got it? Got it? Now we're going to take that 12x and we're going to divide it by 3 for the second step. So 12x. Okay, so I'm just going to write 12x over here. And if we divide it by 3, how many x's do we have left? Abby? 4 x's, don't we? Don't we have that left? All right, so this is right now. What you just did is you multiplied 2/3 by 6x. Instead of taking 2/3 and taking 2/3 times 6x, what I did is I took 2/3 and separated it into 2 different operations. I know everyone in here came to me knowing how to multiply and divide. It's a lot easier if you break a fraction down into 2 operations, isn't it? Than saying, let's multiply by 2/3. Let's make it a little easier. Let's multiply by 2 and then divide by 3. A lot easier. Okay? So let's do that again. Let's take the 2, let's multiply it. Let's take 2 times -9. What is that? -18. Now we're going to take -18 and now we're going to divide it by 3. What do we got? Allison? What? -6 equals -34. So when you bring that 34 down, don't forget that negative. Hey, you forget a negative, it's like when somebody forgets to invite you to a party. The negative feels left out.
Yep.
Okay? All right. So now, solve for x. And then I'll help you check it. Okay? So solve for x. You got it solved? You got it checked? You want to multiply by 2 and divide by 3? So get all the, see that 6x minus 9? Once you plug in for x, get it all the way down to one number. And then take that number, multiply it by 2 in your head, and then divide by 3. And see if it checks out on the other side. See if you can get the -34. Okay? You can't put it in here, you can put it up there. Just in case if you don't distribute right here, you're gonna come to me and say, Mrs. Owens, I got it right. My check works. Well, it does work. I mean, obviously, you got the number right, but we gotta make sure it works up here, up in the original.
So you got this right. Got it right.
Hang on, the check is not hard.
I got that.
easy.
Don't do that to yourself because I told you I will walk you through this. You've never done this before. I'm not going to throw you into the lion's den, nor will I ever. Unless you're Gabe or somebody, you know. I just want to see him, scramble a little bit, and then I'll save him and I'll take him out.
Should the line
You know, you'll just be a little
should the line
entertainment.
go?
Glad you're a
He
good
would
sport.
try to hug noise. You're like, oh, hey, come here, buddy.
All right,
Come
hang
here,
on,
buddy.
let's go.
You cutie.
Hey, look over here. Let's do this. Don't worry about this 2/3 out here right now. What I want you to focus on is inside the parentheses. Can you multiply this 6 times negative 7?
Yes.
All right, so what is that? What?
Negative 42.
Negative 42.
Yes.
Sorry.
All right, so now we got 2/3 here. So I'm just going to bring my 2/3 down. When you put those two negative numbers together, what do you get?
51.
Negative 51, thank you.
One.
Right, Seamus? You meant to say negative? Right, yep. See, he knew it.
You knew it.
All right, now, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to walk you through this next part. You guys agree that this right here has to get us to negative 34, correct?
Yes.
All right, so what I want you to do is take 2, multiply it by negative 51. So what's 51 times 2? Anthony?
Negative 102.
Okay, 102, negative 102, and then what are we going to divide it by?
3.
We're going to divide it by 3, so we're going to divide that by 3, okay? So how many times does 3 go into 10? 3. How many times does 3 go into 12?
4.
There you go, so it's 34. Woo! Do you guys see how fractions can be so easy if you just chunk them, 2 different chunks? If it was 3/4 out in front, you would first multiply by what? 3, then divide by 4. If it was 5/7, you'd multiply by, divide by. That's what a fraction is. It's just 2 things in one. It's like I said, don't go. All right. So what we're going to do right now is I have a 2-part assignment for you. All right. It kind of puts everything together, and this is going to be your first assignment in quarter 3. I decided to do that instead of a quiz. A quiz is not going to help any of your grades.
Nope.
It's not. You have too many points. I checked. It would change it by like 3/10 of, and 3/10 is not going to change you from an A to a B, a B to a, you know what I mean? It's not going to do that unless you do horrible, which I don't want you guys to go out of second quarter with that. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to use this assignment to cushion your grade for third quarter. Okay? So what I want to do is make this a 2-part assignment. I want you to start it today, take it home, do a little bit more, and it's going to be due at the end of tomorrow's class time. Do you understand?
Yes.
So you might want to see, okay, how many problems do I have left to do? Can I get that done in class with McKenna talking to me all hour or Mariana talking to me all hour?
I doubt that.
Yeah, me too.
Just throwing that out there, okay? But you actually work and talk. You're a multitasker. You're a woman. You're good. All right.
I'm
Now,
not.
so
No woman.
listen. What I want you guys to understand is there's 2 parts. There's some problems and there's some coloring. It's a color by number.
Yay.
Okay.
I
So
know better.
I don't like
again, I can't wait to send this video to some of your parents.